Welcome back to Chiefs Fans Before We Were Cool, the Brothers Wonders podcast. How has your wondering been this week?
Far more optimistic than last week.
Oh, it's so nice to wonder about how great we are if our offense
Yeah.
is back, how great our defense can be against all this other stuff. So
hmm
much better things to wonder about than
Then
stuff,
do we pack it
flags.
up and go home?
Yeah, it's a rough time for other fans, but not for us. Um,
Yeah. You mentioned flags. I'm sure a lot of it, I'm sure we cleaned up a number of stuff, but also I'm guessing this officiating crew just did not feel like calling stuff
They
because
they didn't.
they did not
It
call
was
much at all. We
low
only got
flag count.
called, we only got called for one and they didn't even accept it. And I think that we accepted four on them. I don't know if they had more than that, but
Yeah, 46 yards.
four
Not a big deal.
penalties.
I mean, some people will get mad about the Jared Goff play. It was kind of a weird play, so I'm not too like,
I
you
like
know,
anybody who's upset about that. I just don't like. I know it's an obscure rule, but it's a rule. Like, well, you're
yeah,
like hear people. Well, it was a pre-snap penalty, and they threw it after the play. It's like if the Chiefs had run that play, and then it came
mhm,
out afterwards that that should have been a penalty, people would be so mad that they didn't call it. Like, I just don't
right.
understand.
That's
Like,
so funny.
it's just I mentioned it last week with I thought we got some favorable calls against the
Hmm.
Jaguars and we still lost that game. Like we got favorable calls, but that call was not favorable. It was they had to talk about it and they're like, yeah, that was a penalty and they got it right. Like everybody agrees they got it right. I don't know. So that's a silly thing for that one's silly for people to get mad about.
You
I
get
don't
mad when the penalty is right. No, that's a
I
good
get
point. Don't get,
I get
yeah,
people being a little upset about like, hey, the Chiefs didn't get flagged at all. Like that's stupid. Well, technically we did get flagged once. We just didn't accept it, which is a another narrative is we didn't get called for any. We technically got called for one.
hmm,
The Lions got called for four or five. Okay.
yeah.
Four more penalties. It's not like a huge disparity.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I was actually talking um to my father-in-law about during the game and just kind of talking about how the Chiefs haven't gotten as many calls. Really, the only statistically thing, if you want to claim that, which again, I'm not saying that's true, is the playoffs. And the thing about the playoffs, very similar to this game, is that refs don't call as much. That
Yeah.
they tend to let the players play
Yeah.
because like, can you imagine being on the officiating crew? Well, I guess it technically was a missed call, so maybe it's the opposite of that. But like the that famous Saints
Oh yeah.
non-call,
So
like
that's the opposite end.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
like you have to be careful about letting the players play, but like, like it's just uh refs, it's much more likely that the refs are incompetent. A lot of times when things are not the way you want them, you tend to think conspiracy or the person hates you or like, like it's much more likely they just aren't thinking clearly because their brains make mistakes and the refs are humans. And so,
Yeah.
um, and then again, sometimes it can be a different style play. I think it was a officiating crew that decided they're going to swallow the whistle and let the teams play it out, which in general is probably more fun than ones that get really
They
ticky
call a lot.
tacky and they're calling it holding every time.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of things like holding you could call pretty much every play.
Right.
Um, and so just letting the players play. And it was great as a Chiefs fan. It's a great game.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what happens, some people will be upset. And that's I need to get better about not caring as much or not paying attention as much, I
Yeah.
suppose. Um, like I said, sometimes it's justified complaints, and then
Hmm.
sometimes people are looking for stuff because a four call disparity is not that egregious.
No.
Because like I said, I think they had four accepted penalties, and I'm not sure how many they got called, but I know that we got called for one. The
Yeah,
statistic is the Chiefs didn't get called for any, and that's what people I keep seeing posted, and it's like,
it's not true,
no, he got called for one.
Chris.
One is very low, I agree, but also four is not really high either. And like one of those was Jared Goff arguing about the play before, and they got another penalty because of a delay of game, which is fine because they probably were going to kick it anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have gone for it at the six. I don't know, but like that's two like that's half of the accepted penalties was on that one play
Yeah. And
that
one of
we've
them was right,
one of them
and one
was
of them was
both of them
also
was
right.
right. Yeah. So it's just they're not even arguing about whether the calls are good or bad. They're just saying, well, look, this numbers thing doesn't look good, and yeah, I mean now there's the so anyway, people
What about the call
the
disparity the week before?
yeah, that was just because we were bad, obviously. So
Because we're
they
cheaters, we
still,
didn't pay enough.
that's right.
Yeah, maybe we just need to lean into it. Like maybe we just need to like keep
We
like
are the
letting
villains.
people go down this conspiracy theory long enough. It's like, oh, last week the rest were like, actually we gotta give the Jaguars a win, and the Jaguars are up and coming, and we want them to look good. But this week, those Lions, they're pretty high and mighty on their little thrones,
Yeah.
you know, viewing themselves a little Mufasa, and so they wanted to be a little bit of a scar and take them down and trample them with the stampede of um, water buffalo.
No, wildebeest.
Wildebeest, yeah, of course. Wildebeest. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for keeping my Lion Geek facts check.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, no. Yeah, all this stuff as far as like refs and stuff, it really doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It's just emotions. Kind of like Brian Branch at the end of the game. A lot of emotion.
yeah.
Kind of
I
a pointless
understand.
time to get all riled up. But
I understand why he could be upset about a couple things. Like he did get blocked, kind of a cheap shot by Juju Smith-Schuster earlier in the game. That did happen. Now, and it didn't get called. And I mean, I've seen people debate whether it should have been a penalty or shouldn't have been a penalty. They didn't call it. It didn't affect the play. Like sometimes they're calling stuff more than other times, and they didn't call it. There is another thing where some people are saying, well, Mahomes taunted him, and so he deserved it because during that touchdown run, uh, he kind of flexes on Branch. But it's funny because he's in the end zone, and Branch kind of like grabs him when he's in the end zone, and that's why Mahomes turns to him and then like kind of shakes his head and does like the muscles and brushes himself off. And he kind of points, which is why people say it should have been a penalty, which they call that a lot of times. So fair enough. Like I
mm,
is that going to affect the game? Like
yeah,
it
I
means it's a
don't think.
longer extra point.
I
Like
think
okay,
watching it, I could have seen it be a penalty, but I don't think it really was pointing, no pun intended, him out as much as it kind of feels on replay. Like I think it's one of those where it's kind of like on replay, it looks like he's taunting him specifically, but it's not like take for example the Zay Flowers penalty. It wasn't like him jump getting in the face of our cornerback, and
yeah,
it's just a little different
or standing
than
up over him, stuff like
yeah,
that.
standing up over him, kind of like it's just it. I don't think it was his size, so maybe he got away with something, but it it would certainly be a like
It
awesome.
it's going to maybe affect the field position on the next drive, or it'll affect the
It'd
extra
be the
point.
kick, the extra point, I think. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Oh,
I
they
think they
might get
have
to
a
choose.
choice. I think you might
Yeah,
be
that's
right.
what
I
I'm
think they have
saying.
a choice.
So it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It's just people wanting to be upset and or justify Branch's actions, which look, like Branch talked about basically stuff happens between plays and the refs didn't call anything between plays and I got blindside blocked and that should have been called and I just got frustrated and basically
Got
saying they
bullied.
They got
That's what he
bullied
said.
was a specific phrase, which is just I don't know. It's kind of it is what it is, man. I get it. It's frustrating to be losing, and like me personally, it's like yeah, I don't think that guys should do that. But also, you're playing football, and that's a common thing throughout that, and like that's the whole pride of the Lions, right? Is like we're the tough bite your kneecaps team, and then being like, I got bullied, just doesn't feel like it's like he is known for being an excessively aggressive player and a hard hitter and all this stuff, and being like they're they're just bullying me between plays
Patrick
just
Mahomes
felt
bullied me.
a little weird. I don't know. It just seems almost out of character, I guess, because they also brought up the fact that that was his third penalty of that kind this year, and he had seven last year, like or 10 last year. I can't remember. It was a lot, and it's
Hmm.
like obviously this is something that he has an issue with. Like you
Hmm.
could say, well, Mahomes shouldn't. Like one of the stupidest ones to me is like, it was Mahomes' fault because he talked smack and then he put his hand on him or something like that because he went up to high five him and
Dab
he said
him.
no, and so Mahomes like hits his arm or whatever. It's like no one views that as being like aggressive or like whatever. Like it looks to me like Brands was going after Juju, and Juju could have been talking a lot of smack. I don't know. He didn't say like when he was talking about it, he's like, yeah, I was just gonna Juju said I was just gonna wish him a good game or whatever, but we don't know what really was said. Um, so who knows? But anyway, it's
Yeah.
inexcusable. I think he'll likely get suspended for a game based on what I was looking up. That's probably what will happen.
Yeah.
And that's tough because they're already missing so many defensive players, and you just
Hmm.
did it, made a stupid mistake and lost them probably their best, at least their best safety corner, like DB position.
Yeah. Like
Um,
I wanted us to draft him the year he got drafted. I can't remember what year that was, but I guess can do without the hothead. I don't know.
yeah,
And so yeah, but anyway, it's tough. I will say I feel like I made some right calls last week, not to toot my own horn. I don't know if you remember that, but I was pretty confident we were going to be able to stop their running game, like their straight up running game. And I was pretty confident if they were going to move the ball, it was going to be through some screens or some short passes. And both of those were kind of how the game worked. But when you keep that
they
running game to like 3 point whatever, 6 yards, it was not very many yards per carry. What were you gonna say?
yeah the first two drives though they were moving it pretty well with the run game. It wasn't like big bursts, but it was a good
Yeah, yeah,
like
that's pretty
they
common though. Like in a the Spagnola, he's kind of figuring out what they're doing.
yeah
So they had 17 carries for 65 yards was what Jahmyr Gibbs did, and David Montgomery had 4 for 24, so he had 6 yards per carry. 17. So I guess it's okay.
yeah they didn't have a bad running day,
3.8 average.
worse than they usually have, but
But
um,
they had so much time to throw. Like I really did feel like they should have leaned into that way more. Like with the 3 seconds, the
well,
broadcasters highlighted that.
mhm. And we didn't do a lot of blitzes. It didn't
Hmm.
feel like as many as usual. We did rush
Yeah,
like four or five. We weren't doing as many heavy blitzes. We did a couple.
yeah.
But I think that they said, "Hey, let's try to cover these guys, and those our main guys will have to get in." Because I think I guess without seeing the broadcast where you can actually see everything, the Alt 22 or whatever they could say, it's hard to tell. Like, but it seemed like if they weren't throwing the ball, probably their guys weren't open. So we must have done a good job covering down the field.
Hmm.
Because even though they had all that time, they weren't. dicing us up through the air.
Yeah, I think I'm still, I mean, yeah, I still think like, I even read a couple things from Detroit's side. They had a couple times where they just like ran and then did some screen pass. And like they really, the times they were killing us is when they would, get out in space or like find a hole or something like that. But you're right. Maybe the defenses were our defense was dropping back pretty well. Jared Goff's not very mobile, so
Hmm.
that could make a big difference in certain things.
Well, and what's crazy is I think that at least one of their offensive linemen was out too, and their line still held up so well.
Yeah, I mean
It
that's partly us. Like we're not very good rushing the passer. I heard somebody say, I can't remember which D lineman it is, but he's like the worst graded lineman in PFF.
okay.
Um, so
We've also had some good defensive lines that we've gone up against, or
yeah,
sorry, or offensive lines. So like,
yeah.
yeah, I guess
I mean,
I'm trying to think it
it's
back now,
kind of
but
hard. It's like, and part of it's just the way that we play. Like, yeah,
yeah,
everything. Um, we play to contain. We don't like we just push pressure, 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 pressure. We're not
yeah.
playing. We're not a we don't have any players that have bend or speed the way other people do. And so our edges just don't work that way. And that's okay. Like, and that's not how Spec's defenses work generally. I think our backside did a real good job coming and tackling really well, especially in second half, kind of like what you were saying, where we stopped some of those gashes, um, and just kind of forced the Lions into be one dimensional. And once you do that, a team like that that's all about play action, you can really you slow them down. Like I said, I view it very similar to the way that Spags shuts down Lamar Jackson seemingly every time. Like it's just we're really good at shutting that down. Now with teams like the Bills, I think that, Josh Allen can throw super well and they can run pretty well, you
Hmm.
know. I think we sometimes like I think I'm more scared of them. Like, we talk about how we beat the Bills in the playoffs every time, but like that 13-second game, like there were a couple things that went very right in that game.
We should have won. We should have lost.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
If the Bills play just that better, like just that last 13 seconds, there's no
Right.
reason we should have
Josh
done that.
Allen did enough to win that game.
Yeah,
And our defense blew a lot of things to stinking Gabe Davis. Like
yeah.
like
Big Dave Davis day. It's kind of hard to
yeah.
say.
Yeah, he had a big day and they got a big contract and then people realized, oh, he's not very good.
Yeah,
Um but anyway, that's another thing that's kind of funny to me is how good teams like people will take all their bad players. It's like that's not why they
yeah,
won, guys. They not they won.
yeah.
There's actually a fallacy for that. You can call it the fallacy of
The Patriot
division.
fallacy.
Yeah, this is not a fallacy podcast, but
It's not a
it has
fallacy
some other
podcast.
names too. But the fallacy of division, where you think because the team is good, every part of the team is good.
Yeah,
And so, like the Saints get our players a lot. We have a couple 49ers that, MVS has actually been doing okay for them. And Sky Moore's been returning punts for them, which is kind of weird. But they've been decimated by injuries. So,
yeah.
yeah,
No one in the 49ers is singing the praises of Sky Moore. I'm fairly confident of that. Um,
he's been
but
doing
yeah,
fine. He hasn't
I
muffed any
mean,
punts. He's
yeah,
okay.
but like
I'm not saying he's like,
having a punt returner is a lot different than having a receiver.
yeah, no,
They're
he's not
decimated
playing.
receiver wise, and it's not like he's out there
MVS
running
made a few
routes.
plays. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's just kind of I
I
see it. But yeah.
yeah, but I've that happened a lot with the Patriots,
Yep.
famously.
Yeah,
Um,
don't take our bad players.
so yeah, I don't know. I think that it was a really good game. It was really good to see it all come together.
Hmm.
I for sure enjoyed it. It was a lot less stressful than I thought it was going to be. Um, I am not a good Chiefs fan. I put a little bit of money down on the Lions because I thought that there's a really good chance they would win. And since we were favored, even if we won by less than a field goal, I would have still won. So I lost some money this weekend, but that's okay because the Chiefs won.
Wow.
I did not bet the house because I'm not
Good,
an idiot,
good
and I
job.
don't have one anymore because you guys already bet it for me. Um, so
Yeah.
so yeah,
The
it was a
Bills
really good game.
the Bills just lost, by the way. I just
I looked it up already, but yeah,
oh, you'd already looked at it. Yeah,
yeah.
I just wanted to because that was my next question a little bit. I mean, how do you feel about the Rashee Rice coming back? Like, do you think this offense is going to go MVP caliber? Like Mahomes and the Chiefs could push for that?
For the last 3 weeks, they've looked MVP caliber for our offense. Um, and we played some bad defenses, so maybe that's some of it. But our offense is definitely not going to get worse with Rice coming back.
Yeah.
We haven't really got to see him play much since his injury, so we'll have to see. He's a young player, so you expect him to be able to bounce back from even more serious injuries, but we'll have to see what that's going to look like. I mean, we got to see him a little bit in the preseason, but preseason's preseason. Um, so seeing what it's going to look like, we'll actually have Hollywood, Worthy, and Rice for at least, maybe the first snap until one of them gets injured. And then we'll see what happens after that. Um, but yeah, no, I'm really excited to see it. I don't know that'll make a huge difference. I hope it will. I
Hmm.
think I think a lot of it will come down to Kelsey will only be in on certain plays, and Rice will take a lot of those type of routes that Kelsey had been running. I think my guess would be that Kelsey will set out a lot more once Rice is back and
Yeah.
only come in on certain special plays.
Which is probably good for the team as a whole.
Oh
Keep him
yeah.
healthy. But yeah, he only averaged four targets a game with Rashee Rice last year.
Hmm.
But I mean that wasn't a huge sample size.
Yeah.
I think Rashee Rice comes in and he takes 10 targets a game. And I really do hope we can get some of those like Tyquan Thornton, Xavier Worthy. Like think of all the speed we have going on now. Like we can get back to that kind of Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, prime Kelsey stuff going back. I mean, Mahomes, honestly, he's doing a lot, but he's still not super on point with some of his deep passes and things like that. It's not, but he's doing what he needs to get it done, and that's what
I
all you
mean,
need.
he missed like one deep shot. He didn't
He
really
didn't
have
take
like
any deep shots this game.
he
Yeah,
took one that yeah
right.
was a safe throw or whatever. It didn't work out, but I mean I felt like he was accurate this last game. I thought it was
Hmm.
probably his best game because there was some tight windows he made it into. He was slinging it. I felt really good about Mahomes' performance this week, I guess.
Right. I still think he's going to be great in the kind of Rishi Rice throws, like these short, quick ones. Um, I'm hopeful that we can get some people really springing open and get some really nice downfield throws again. Is the hope, but
Yeah,
I think the Detroit Lions definitely played too high the whole time. Like they just played the defense, and Mahomes just played
yeah,
like he plays. And honestly, we win more that way. So, we've lost some games with the high, with the long throws and stuff. So it's also hard kind of to get away from it. Um,
yeah. And I don't think that the Lions had much choice with
yeah,
their defensive backs injured. Like they can't trust their defensive backs one on one, and so that's how they had to play.
yeah,
And we took advantage.
it's good.
We our running game actually did decent. Mahomes wasn't the leading rusher, so that was nice. Finally, he still is
Yeah.
for the season, but.
Yeah.
Um, hopefully, hopefully that'll continue. That we'll be able to get that. And I think that having Bryce back, I think in general, your offense looks better passing. It opens up some run game. Your running game looks better. It opens up the pass game. Like it works both
Yeah.
ways. And so if Rice is able to cut across the middle and we get more of those middle shots, makes defensive backs like be a little more aware of that, not be able to just crash down. They have to um, take that little half second to make sure they're not going to get dumped right behind them. And
Yeah.
um, so hopefully that'll help. I don't know. We'll see. I was a little sad, and like you said, they might have just played two high safeties, but we didn't. I didn't see Thornton like at all
Yeah.
this last game. He's been so helpful for us. Another thing I wanted to talk about was um, um, so Simmons had a family matter. I didn't
Yep.
know that until I was watching the game, and then I was like,
Yeah, I
wait,
actually hadn't been on point with that either until I saw it. I was like, talking about, hey, look, we could run around the left side. Like that was the play I noticed. I was like, wait, that's not Simmons. That's more.
but Moore played really well.
Yeah.
Like I was very encouraged. Like it's tough to be paying that much money to a backup, but it was really nice that we do have a backup.
Yeah.
Um, and he played really well against a decent pass rush. I mean, uh, looked like Aiden Hutchinson kind of bounces around. He definitely went up against that left tackle multiple times, and Moore held up well. So that was encouraging to see. We didn't hold on to the ball a long time, so that also just helps.
Yeah.
Um, but I was encouraged. Um,
Yeah. It makes you feel real safe, a lot better. You just need that. And we know that we lose Super Bowls when Mahomes isn't protected. Like we
yep,
have lost other ways, but if you're just talking statistically, much highest percentage of losses in the playoffs is offensive line related.
yeah,
So uh, I don't mind it. I don't have issue. Obviously, you couldn't know when you signed him that you would get Josh Simmons falling.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so you
Better
just,
be proactive.
yeah, you
It
don't want
is.
to go into a draft with any glaring holes anyway.
You have to
Uh,
draft a certain player regardless of position, like where you're at in the draft or whatever.
yeah, value.
Hmm.
So that's pretty big. We'll see. I still wouldn't mind. All due respect to Mr. Pacheco. He's doing fine. I wouldn't mind trading for another running back. I was kind of thinking about this because it can be an investment. It's one of those where you're kind of like, well, so much is the offensive line, and that's
Hmm.
true. But it's also something where the best running backs are actually almost a value, kind of like the best centers used to be, the best tight end. We had a lot of value having Travis Kelce on our team
Right, because they
because
don't take as much money as receivers.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like you find the best there. And again, so maybe we can't afford that or mess
Uh,
with it. I just said
uh,
it might
That's
be
a.
fun to try something different, like a Brees Hall or something. I don't know. Like I'm not saying we have to do it. It maybe be too much. And we probably won't.
I think
But it's
that it would
kind of a
probably be
fun thought
like.
experiment in terms of like how do you construct a roster?
I think the only one we would really afford would be maybe like an Alvin Kamara or something like that. I don't think we could afford a Brees Hall. Like he's a young enough player that they would want a lot for him.
Yeah. It's
Alvin
contract
Kamara's
year though.
like towards the end. But yeah. Well, like, could we even have? So, a rental. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a possibility, I suppose. Um,
It's
but
probably not the best, like his yeah,
well,
for
there's
him, I would
there's
say second round pick probably sure starting like negotiation and we need to we need cheap young players to facilitate some of the other contracts we're doing. And again,
yeah,
we could have made different decisions if like, we let Trey Smith walk, but then signed Joe Tooney, we might have had the wiggle room to do that, but maybe we don't. And that's okay. But it's just kind of as we think about the deadline, maybe there's, an Alvin Kamara like I've heard that they're not planning to trade him. He doesn't want to be traded. And he's been there, he's been kind of the face of the franchise for long enough. It seems like you probably shouldn't. You should just like, like
you
just
should
kind
just
of
be bad.
don't be that jerk that trades the star player that doesn't want to get traded. Like,
That's fair.
let him finish. Like, as sad it was to see Dirk play throughout finish his career, like at the end of his career in Dallas, to jump to NBA. But it's kind of cool to end with a franchise, that you had, and especially when you have a loyal person that's never asked out, who's always kind of done this thing, just done his job as a player anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway, um, but yeah, maybe we could sign another defensive tackle, beef that up a little bit. I think Noddy is the one that is pretty low rated, and we aren't doing a lot with four rushers. Chris Jones
yeah.
felt like he came alive though a little bit this game. That was really nice.
He, I didn't, I didn't actually watch it, but I heard he referenced the lack of effort, kind of like what you were talking about. Just took a play off, is what it sounded like. I did not actually watch the clip, so I can't speak to it directly, but that's the gist I got from what other people said about it.
Yeah,
Um, and so yeah, he seemed to have a little bit of a fire, something to
good.
prove.
Should.
So that was really good to see. Well, any thoughts or about the Raiders next week?
Raiders gonna Raider. I mean, their run game has seemed a lot better. They beat the Titans. Woohoo!
They're
I'm just looking
unstoppable at
back.
this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's divisional, so
yeah, they're gonna be
anything's
fired up
possible.
for it. This is gonna be the most important game they play all season. So they got
Um,
destroyed by the Colts, like a lot of people. The Colts have been pretty good. Destroyed
they
by the
have
Commanders.
they have not all played well. Like
Barely
their two
lost to the
wins,
Bears. Yeah,
their two wins were against the Titans, and then who was the other team they played? They beat. It wasn't. Oh, maybe they won two, I think. But anyway, however it goes, I'm.
I think they beat the Patriots first week.
Did they really? I guess do the Patriots have like five turnovers or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they started out and they had like five turnovers that game,
Yeah, as
or
far
something
as
terrible like that.
far as the AFC West, I think they're the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, I'll be a little discouraged if we can't take care of business against them.
I mean, they beat
But you
us in
never know.
Christmas, and then nobody beat us again until the Super Bowl.
So yeah, we should really throw this game. That way
I'm
we
just
won't.
saying it doesn't probably matter as much as it feels, but I don't want to lose to them either
I
because they're
mean, yeah, but we're
annoying.
already 3-3. We're already a full game
Yeah, we
behind.
need it. We need to win. We need to win out for sure.
A full game behind our opponents in the um, AFC West, and then like multiple games behind any sort of front runners. So
Yeah.
we
So
need
yeah,
to we need to
who
get
do you
some
think
wins
is
at some
more?
point.
Who are you more afraid of in terms of AFC? I will just say again, the Raiders. I Do you agree they're kind of at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, so between the Chargers and the Broncos, which one do you think is more of a threat, I
Um,
guess?
so here's a question that you might not know. Are both of the tackles out for the season on the Chargers?
The
Um,
offensive line was having issues.
right.
I think it's just the left for the season.
Okay. So if they get those back, I'm probably more scared of the Chargers because they played so well, and their why can't I think of his name? Their all-star was out from the beginning of the season, and we saw how well they played with just the one missing. But it seems like they've really struggled as they've lost more. Um,
Hmm.
and the Broncos' offense has just looked so lackluster. It's hard to for me to really fear them. The Chargers, like obviously, the Broncos' defense is phenomenal, but the Chargers have shown that they can play a really good defense and they can have a pretty explosive offense.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in the Broncos' wins, I'm not super afraid of their offense. And maybe
Mm.
that'll change. They just don't really have the receivers, I think is the biggest thing for me, is they don't have um,
Yeah.
that receiver depth that you're trying to cover multiple people. Like they have Cortland Sutton and and they have like Mims, right? And like they just don't have. It's not like the Chargers where there's like three solid guys that you're looking out for. You're looking for Lad McConkey and Keenan Allen and Johnson. Um, so like I'm more afraid of the Chargers, assuming that they do get healthy again. What about you? Do you agree or disagree or
I think I am certainly more afraid of the um yeah, I think the Chargers. I mean, just seeing that week one game was was kind of like again, I didn't feel like I think they outplanned. They played really well and that was good for them.
and
So,
and I think and we missed Rice and Worthy.
yeah, I mean the players certainly had an impact, but I think just the way that they adjusted their offense.
Hmm.
You know, I really think the Lions should have tried to throw more, like just with the time they had. And yeah, sure, we're dropping a lot of people in coverage, but you know, Monroe's going to get open eventually, like 3 seconds. Like maybe he gets bracketed, but then Jameson, like he got open. I just think they got a little stubborn there. I
Hmm.
liked last takeaways. I really liked Andy Reid being aggressive for it, going on fourth down, even though we didn't get it.
I
Um,
got it the first time.
well, right. We didn't get it one of the times.
We actually, what? How many times did we go for it? Four times and got it three, or three times and got it two.
We did great.
Um,
Good
I'm
job.
just saying we did get it more often
Yeah,
than we didn't. We just
yeah,
didn't get
yeah,
it that one time, which
yep,
mattered.
yep. So, it's a it's good to have that. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this
Hmm.
year. I'm excited for the Chiefs, for Rice. So, I'm gonna have some great wonderings. Um, so I don't know. How about
Chiefs.
Here we go. Well, we'll workshop it. If you have another suggestion,
Well, yeah,
we're
we need a good outro, guys.
we need a good
We
outro.
we need some help. That was my suggestion was how about those Chiefs? But if you guys can think of a better one, it's we're so awkward every time we end. I'm
Yeah.
I I'm tempted to, if I'm ever watching our podcast, to end before it ends, just to save myself the pain. Um,
So in this case, would you have ended it before this conversation talking about how we need help to
no,
end it?
because we need help. So sometimes you just gotta swallow your pride and you need to leave it in
All right.
so that everybody is aware. Maybe you probably need to cut this and put it at the beginning so that anybody who just starts the podcast
Yeah.
hears our cry for help. And then even if they don't finish it, at least they might have pity on us and send
Yeah.
out a suggestion for how we should end it each time.
Well, not all who wander, not all who wonder are Chiefs fans. So, to you, the wanderers.
Yep. Also, you can send on your own wonders if you we haven't even talked about that. I think that's a
Yeah.
great idea. If you have your own wonders, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll likely discuss them in the next week. So if you have your own wonders, not all who wonder are Schrags. So you can also wonder. Um, or if you are a Shrug, you can wonder as well, since that's probably a large portion of our audience.
Not all who wonder are Schrags.